Welcome into the SEC rundown for another week of college football in the SEC. I'm breaking down all the SEC games, giving a bet on every game with a best bet at the end. We are 20-20 on the season. So we were under 500 and climbed our way up to 500. Still, I guess, minus 2 units in terms of it costs money to make these bets. So down a little bit on the season, but degenerate style 20-20, top play 4-3 on the season, plus 0.7 units. So what that means, if you're new to sports betting, is if a unit is just your size of the normal wager you make. So up 1 unit would mean you're up $100 if you're a $100 better. So up 0.7 units on the top plays would mean we are up $70 for a $100 better. And 20-20, we're down 2 units, meaning it costs 0.1 per unit to make each bet. We are down 2 units, so down $200 for a $100 better. But it is what it is, guys. We're after it this week in the SEC. We only got 3 games, so I usually do this SEC video, all the SEC games in under 10 minutes. This is likely going to be well under 10 minutes, but we'll get after it as I pull up the lines here because, heck, 7 p.m. Eastern kick, 137, 138, Arkansas at Florida. We got the Florida Gators minus 1760 being the total in this first matchup in Gainesville, Florida. Looks like the weather should be pretty good in the state of Florida. But talking about this Arkansas team, you know, Sam Pittman, their head coach, likely the coach of the year in all of college football. This Arkansas team, what they came off of last year to this year, I mean, and they had that mishap happen in Auburn where they actually should have one more win and one less loss. They're 3-3 straight up. This is a team that lost to everybody. I believe even San Jose State last year. Now they're 3-3 in an SEC only schedule. Very impressive. And something that everybody's talking about here in Vegas, and really if you're a sports bettor all around, they're 6-0 ATS, meaning against the spread. If you've bet on Arkansas, you've won every single bet this season and winning 3 of those on the money line. So Arkansas, the Arkansas faithful out there, the boosters, their backing has made a lot of money, which means there isn't a whole lot of people out there in the betting markets looking to fade Arkansas. Now, Florida themselves have been a moneymaker, 3-2 ATS, 4-1 on the year. And, you know, they're an explosive offense. They got an NFL quarterback throwing the ball accurate down the field. Talent all over that offense. Now, the defense has been shaky at times. That's one thing that's worrying me about this Florida team on the defensive end, holding Arkansas at bay. Plus the fact you throw in there a little bit of motivation for the Arkansas quarterback. The Florida Gators, Felipe Franks is the starting quarterback for Arkansas. He used to be the starting quarterback for Florida, went down with an injury. Kyle Trask came in and lit it up. I mean, he kind of lost his job to injury. It is what it is. And so Felipe Franks transferred. Now, I don't think it was the wrong decision by any factor, but you got to think there's a little bit of extra motivation as Felipe Franks comes back in to the swamp. This is a team that, you know, went head to head with Texas A&M, Ole Miss, Auburn, Mississippi State, Georgia. You know, the list goes on in an SEC only schedule covering that against all of them. So I think sidewise, these are both teams that are bet on for me. But I will say this, I think offenses get after it. It looks like the climate should be pretty good. Not much rain or wind here. Florida, if they have a weakness, it's on the defensive side. We've seen Arkansas kind of lighted up a little bit the last 2 weeks, putting up 30 points in each of their last 2 games, up over 20 points in each of their last 4 games since that Georgia game where they only put up 10 points in week 1. So I think this over of 60 is hanging a little bit too low here, guys. So first game up, Arkansas in Florida. I like over of 60 in this one. We got one more before the best bet here, and this is the 7:30 kickoff on SEC Network. It's South Carolina versus Ole Miss here. And this is a game that opened Ole Miss minus 7 points, total of 69.5. We now have that total of 70.5, so a high total here. Ole Miss is now 12-point favorites, meaning the line has shifted 5 points towards Ole Miss. That is a huge move here. And a couple things, guys. This South Carolina team 3 weeks ago went to LSU and got blown out. Then they had a bye week, and then they hosted Texas A&M last week. I was on South Carolina thinking that they'd regroup off of a bye week. That defense would be ready to play. I took the 1-unit loss. And now, after watching them get blown out and motivation being an issue here, I'm really worried about this South Carolina team. This is the type of profile you do not want to be betting on the South Carolina Gamecocks. Now, if they show up, then next week and down the road, possibly, but you don't want to pick the spot in sports betting. I've been doing this as my straight job for 6 years. And one thing I've learned is you almost learn how not to lose more so than win. And this is one of those situations you don't want to be on South Carolina. So I would look here towards the over. I think South Carolina, Mike Bobo, quarterback Colin Hill coming over from Colorado State. I think that they're able to move the ball a little bit here. Will Muschamp, I thought the defense would play a lot better this season, especially the last couple of weeks, and it just has not happened. So I would look for both teams to put points up in bunches. And when you're talking about Ole Miss, Matt Corral, really quarterback, they got two good ones. And Lane Kiffin dialing it up. I mean, he's a great offensive play caller, and we're starting to see that here in Oxford, Mississippi. So I think Ole Miss puts up a bunch of points. Looks like Oxford, Mississippi has good weather as well, 74 degrees, light winds, no rain. So I think points in bunches, and I think this total is high for a reason. So up and over 70.5 is the play that I like in South Carolina versus Ole Miss. We have the best bet coming up. Also, shout out to Daniel. Welcome in on Facebook, actually. I didn't actually know anybody was actually watching on Facebook. But thanks, Daniel. And shout out to everybody else out there on YouTube and Twitter as well at Drew Martin Bets. So best bet here. It's actually the first game up, but like to say best bets for last. Vanderbilt at Kentucky. It also made the best bet video, so you can watch it there as well. But I'll just recap it real quick, guys. We got excuse me on that. We got Vanderbilt catching 18 against Kentucky, and that's just too many points for the Kentucky Wildcats to be laying. I think that this Vanderbilt team is starting to wake up a little bit offensively. Their quarterback, Ken Seals, a true freshman, is just threw over 300 yards in the last game. His last 3 games, 73%. Over 800 yards passing. Both offenses not very good statistically all season long, and especially Kentucky. Their quarterbacks, whether it be Joey Gatewood or Terry Wilson, if he's able to play, they can't throw the ball downfield very well, and it shows. Only, 41 completions in their last 4 games, 81 passing yards a game averaging. That's just not going to cut it. You got, not even averaging 100 yards per game throwing the football. 3 of their assistant coaches aren't going to be available. I don't know if it's COVID, but that's what it looks like there from Stoops, the head coach, putting that out. So not really sure what's going on there in Lexington, but this offense is not working. We know that for sure. So asking them to lay 18 points is just too much. I think Vanderbilt plus the 18, defensive-minded Vanderbilt, Derek Mason's group. And heck, maybe sprinkle a little bit there on the money line. So Vanderbilt plus 18 will be the best bet for the video. 4 and 3 on the top plays here, up 0.7 units, 20 and 20 overall in the degenerate style. And I'll recap that right now. We got Vanderbilt plus 18, South Carolina, Ole Miss over 70.5, and Arkansas, Florida over as well. So 2 overs and a huge underdog here for the SEC picks, guys. SEC, every game on the board, doing it all season long here. YouTube, Drew Martin Bets, and Facebook and Twitter as well. So guys, thanks for joining me. Drew Martin from Las Vegas, and